Hello, everyone. This is Pharaoh Benson, and we're going in today with a Gladiators Gauntlet update. I want to talk a little bit about the map placement and just kind of recommended heroes. Obviously, we haven't had any matches on this one yet. I know Forerunner did. I haven't had any time to look at them. Just given the weekend and the way it played out, I didn't have a lot of motivation, if I'm being entirely honest. And I don't think anyone else should either, as far as like a lot of other things, right? There's drama going about. I'm going to leave it there. We're going to move on. I'm trying to stay in a positive mindset. Wish me luck. We're doing this video in one take because I don't have time to edit before people can make changes. So I need to get this rocked out as fast as humanly possible. Things to note about this current map for Gladiators Gauntlet. Like any map in this game, you really want to figure out where is your crowd control. Where are you kind of trapping things to kill it? And what is hit priority for most things, right? So going over the tower map very quickly, there are two viable Ingrid placements. One is right here, and this is assuming two things. One, for me, I have her here for two reasons I will explain. The other viable Ingrid placement is over here if you're using one tank, or right next to the crystal if you're using two melee or two platform. Or sorry, two tile. So, just as a heads up, those are your two placements. This one actually works a lot better than people may think, but you're going to want somebody like a Mari here with like a Praetus backing, your tank up. So if you're using 3 platform units, I'd recommend over here, hard CC here and massive damage right over here. The reason this is actually surprisingly good is because when she does her big beams, she'll hit everything. So she always hits everything that's even over here. Because it is map wide 3x3, right? So it's 3 by infinity, because she will hit things that are coming out of the spawn. She deletes fools, especially if you have her A3+. Certainly something to consider. The only reason why over here may be beneficial to some people is because you will get the lovely benefit of having her with inspiration. Right. And so that's why I have her over here, is for the inspiration buff. You could move your tanks up here. I have a mindset. If I'm going to get Ingrid flipped anyways, because everyone's going to Ingrid flip and then try to kill my tank, right? That's going to be the strategy if I move my tank up one square. If they're going to Ingrid flip anyways, I'm going to put them in range with a single target damage and just let Ingrid actually deal DPS while she's flipped. It's fine. It's actually, I've been testing this. No one's broken it up to 115k BP on all 5 demons. No one's broken this. So we're going to run with this. Some other ones that I've been really just enjoying, some other concepts, right? And I'll show you this one too. My secondary team, I'm using Praetus because he's, Praetus. Yes, he's not a lord here, but that doesn't really matter. Praetus is a unit is good because of 2 reasons. One, I can get his hit points up to 40k pretty easy. And so he's in a 40k set. That is also triple attack bonus on the right side. In Warlord's set, right? Like, he's not even in Immortal Warrior or Immortal Dawn or whatever it is. I can't remember. The Immortal set. He's in Warlords with HP substats, and I've got him to 40k hit points. It is possible to do. You need some pretty decent rolls in order to get that high. But having a 40k Praetus standing right here, he is in healing range, right? Makes that super easy. Garnet Guard hit priority is this tile first. So this tile is safe as long as there is a unit here. And same thing for here. They're safe as long as there is a unit here. So in general, I'm not too worried about Praetus dying or Anora dying to anything. I'm using Praetus for primarily his ultimate and how fast it comes up. The fact that it then chains to multiple targets is nice, but also that it applies a radiant erosion, which helps to melt tanks. It makes it very good. I think, in all honesty, the most genius placement possible. For anyone who doesn't know, I and Cyrus have counter synergy. What do I mean by that? I wants to place bombs on the ground. Cyrus has to place skeletons in order to be Cyrus, in order for him to really be able to do anything. And so it is easily possible to kill off Cyrus's skeletons by dropping double legendary flyers. This will damage him to the point where his skeletons will go away. You wait for I to then place a bomb, and then you kill Cyrus. And just make sure you don't pass him to blow up any bombs that are behind him, any skeletons that are behind him. So the logic is, you can circumvent that by making sure that you have this lovely square right there. That square is beautiful. And I noticed this about the range maybe a little later than I want to admit. But by having this one square here that I cannot touch, that means that tactic does not work. And I don't have to worry about legendary flyers just killing him outright, or any other flying units, because by the time they get to these two, they will disintegrate them. Praetus also has all of that range currently available to him for flyers. So Praetus is there for both flyers and for Pharaoh Guards. And then, of course, I'm using Ezran because I don't have Carnelian. If I had Carnelian, I'd probably be rolling with a different team, though I may not. Hard to say. But those are my two comps. So things about this map that people need to be aware of. First off, these squares here and here are no good. Do not use them. They can be instantly sniped by epic archers over here. This square is clearly always going to be unusable, unless maybe you're trying to do some kind of a strategy, like right here out of the gate maybe, but I don't know what that would look like. Actually, I guess you could maybe. There's a possibility of something with like piercers maybe. I don't even know. I know you could do like Dahlia down this way. I guess you could put like a healer back here and then have like a DPS there. You still can't use that square because that'd still be sniped over here, but I don't know. Something to think about. No one's done anything that I liked that way anyway, so we're just going to keep going. But that is this map. To talk a little bit about map number 2, the Central Keep, for those who are in it. I am not one of them this season, but we can just grab a few units. Why not? Let's do an Arbiter thing. Do like Praetus, and then we'll grab like Valk, I guess, and then maybe we'll have a Brock tank with Eunomia. Why not? This will be our pretend comp. So similar kind of a vibe. This square here is unusable. It is instantly sniped. This square is usable to the best of my knowledge. I don't think I've seen anyone get sniped over here. I also believe that this one is also unusable from what I remember. I'll have to double check my notes at some point, but I'm pretty sure that that was the case. That said, Ingrid is going to be very popular here. And then, of course, you can have your double stack, just like that. And then, your Praetus and your healer, and congratulations, you have an Ingrid comp, right? Another one to consider if you wanted to go that route, and another one that I've seen very, very popular is the side stack over here. And fairly similar vibe to the previous one. You have, most of your units in range of the healer, and then you get your Ingrid kind of down this direction. Things not to do. Do not try to set this up over here. It just doesn't work that well. I've seen a few people try, and it's never gone that great. I'm actually not even convinced that, I'm pretty sure that's okay for the range on archers, but I'm not even 100% sure right at this second. But I know that Garnet Guards hit here. I also know that Garnet Guards will hit a unit here if you have them like this. So if you have this setup and your Garnet Guards make it to this square, they will then hit this unit instead of that one. So it just doesn't work at all. You could, in theory, put somebody with a non-mage range here, like any of your regular marksmen, right? So your Silas's, your Yovar, stuff like that. It would be possible, but at the same time, you may or may not want to. I've noticed that this setup on the very, very front of this map hasn't really worked great. Most of the ones that have been hard for me to crack have been over here. However, it's been really, really, really easy to swarm an Ingrid in this position. So I've swarmed A5 Ingrids in this position within my guild. It's happened, or A3 to A5, right? And it's mainly possible because of two reasons. One, her 3 square tile has this completely wasted space here. It also has this very limited space here. When you drop a fool, it'll get stuck on this corner. And so the fool stays here for a lot longer than it normally would, which allows you to get to the 10 cost shaman to allow you to actually be able to heal it through Ingrid's damage. And then the shamans get stuck back here and they're still healing everything over here. And so swarming an Ingrid has become very easy for me in this section. So I'm not entirely convinced that this is the best play. I think that the long lane may be the best way to go. And the only reason why this is going to be somewhat superior is just because over here, your fool and your shamans have to come around in order to be able to do anything, which means that Ingrid can kill them. And if Ingrid can kill the support staff, the swarm falls apart. That kind of gets me into my main tip, right? When it comes to fighting against Maw or swarms, or even most kill comps nowadays, you're not fighting the demon that makes it happen. You're fighting the shaman, right? You're fighting the fool. You're going to be fighting those infernal clerics. You're going to be fighting the whatever AoE guy from season 7, Frostborn Scholar. There we go. I finally know its name. You're going to be fighting these guys and not actually the units that are going to do the damage. You're not gearing necessarily to kill the Pharaoh, right? You're not gearing to kill. You are gearing to kill the Necromancer, but where's the axes? You're not gearing to kill the axes. You're not gearing to kill the Scourges, right? You want to kill its support staff. And so what I mean by that is, it's shaman, it's necromancer, the fool, right? The infernal cleric. These are all supporting units that make those things deadly. On their own, all of these demons fall apart at a high level. So if you can take out the support staff, you're going to win a lot more matches than you would if you don't take them out. That's why on my comps, you'll notice I have eye and DPS gear, right? I have a DPS eye. No one does this. No one makes an eye with, 18,000 attack ever. Like, I just don't see eyes with 18,000 attack. Yeah, crit damage is a little low. I don't even care, because she has enough attack to deal damage to scholars. To fools, to the Frostborn scholars, to the shamans, the clerics of the world, right? Like, that's what she's there for. She's there to kill the support staff. And she'll do a good job of that. And especially with, a maxed out tier Twilight, right? Like, that's going to add an additional 30% to that 18,000. That does add up. So just something to consider. Yeah, I kind of wanted to give some of these tips. I know they're not like very specific, but in terms of like specificity, the same principles are true as they are on my other videos, right? You need some form of crowd control. In this case, I have, Wukong, a little bit of RNG crowd control out of Ajax, and a crap ton of damage out of Ingrid, right? For this team, both Anora and I fit that role. And they're both also dealing damage. In terms of like being able to support one crowd controller, you can do that, like one spammer build. But you really do need high damage around it. Otherwise, you're just going to get swarmed this season. So those are my tips. Those are my recommendations. Again, I know they might be a tad bit on the generic side, but I just thought that this video might help one or two people really think about their defense strategy and go Gladiators Gauntlet Season 6. So if you like this kind of content, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Consider giving this video a like, and I'll see you on the next one.